Hello, I'm Pip Courtney and welcome to our summer series where we reprise some of our best stories from last year. Pictures of millions of dead Murray cod at Menindee in New South Wales are hard to forget. Wild stocks of this iconic fish have been severely depleted for decades across the Murray-Darling Basin. But in March, Landline's Sean Murphy discovered a breeding program which is helping the species recover and also benefiting irrigation farmers.
In a year with their water allocation cut to just 7%, they grew 2 crops for every precious drop on this farm near Griffith in New South Wales. They're farming Australia's iconic Murray cod. They're also pioneering a unique aquaculture system that recycles its nutrient-rich water for irrigated crops.
Water's pretty important to us here in Griffith. Without it, it's basically a desert. One of the big problems with aquaculture worldwide is what do we do with the waste? We produce high nitrogen, high phosphorus environments, which is not great for river systems. But if we can put it back into a plant-growing environment where the plants can use that and we can lock up that nitrogen and phosphorus back into a plant, it's perfect.
Murray Cod Australia launched on the stock exchange 3 years ago with big plans for exporting Australia's premier freshwater fish to the world. The company developed markets in Europe, the United States and Japan, but COVID-19 had a dramatic impact.
When it first hit, everything shut off. We had probably at that point in time 20 to 30% of our production was going out as export, and that stopped overnight, which really concerned us because at that point we saw real growth in that export market, especially in the US and Europe and Japan. But the domestic retail market has picked up.
Domestic demand has boomed. Sales grew by 17% in volume and value through the pandemic.
COVID has been a positive for us. Melbourne and Sydney, Adelaide, Brisbane have all been really pumping it, and a lot more locals have jumped on board around the Griffith region, and it's just been really amazing. The fish doesn't lie, honestly. It's a star in itself. As soon as you try it, it's just everyone, the reviews that we get, it's just amazing.
The company's market penetration has been helped by clever branding as a Kuna Sustainable Murray Cod, an Aboriginal word for flowing water. It's also boasting a traceability system that guarantees pond-to-plate verification for every tagged fish.
So the traceability game, it's amazing for us. It literally takes 2 minutes, not even, to find out where that fish come from, what day it was harvested, how old it was, what pond it came from, the cage, everything. So traceability is a really, really huge for us. We're really big on that.
As part of its positioning as a market leader, the company has developed a humane dispatch for its product, killing and bleeding each fish at harvest rather than relying on what the industry calls a chill kill, where fish are put to sleep in an ice slurry.
So we've moved away from that to stunning and bleeding. So the fish literally come out of the water within 20 to 30 seconds, they're stunned, and they're bled straight after they're stunned, and then they get dropped into the ice slurry. So we think from a fish welfare perspective, it's far better for the fish, but it also has helped with our fish quality as well and flesh quality. So the quicker that those fish are dispatched, the better it is, the better outcome for the fish and better outcome for our quality as well. Yeah, look, we've changed a few things since you were here last. The ponds ultimately stay the same.
Managing Director Matt Ryan says the company has been working on improving its farming system, introducing automatic feeders to cut down on labour costs and to supply feed when it's needed most. Now you're feeding at night. Have you had much of a production benefit from that?
Certainly, yeah, it's a big difference. By feeding through the night, that's when fish, Murray cod, are generally a bit more nocturnal in their feeding habits. Unless they're really hungry, they'll feed mainly at night. So we've found that we're able to get more feed into them. The fish are happier and healthier, we have less aggression, And yeah, we have less issues with humans being out here at odd hours of the day having to do the work.
The company has also made big gains in its nursery, grading fingerlings to be cage ready 6 to 8 months sooner than when it began its operations 3 years ago. It's also found a stocking rate that works best for a predator species that lives on its own in the wild.
You can have them too dense, but also if we have them not dense enough, they'll tend to be aggressive. So we found a bit of a sweet spot that seems to work because aggression can be a big problem with Murray cod given that solitary nature that they have in the wild. So if we get them at the right density, they tend to lose that aggressiveness and they're happy, they grow better, and we get better production, which is ultimately better for everyone.
Last year, Murray Cod Australia added this 80-hectare hatchery at Uberta near Wagga Wagga to its inventory. Besides the 2 million Murray cod it's growing for the company's ponds, it will also breed another 3 million fish across 3 species for stocking dams, weirs and rivers in New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia.
So when did those come in, Shan?
Hatchery manager Ian Charles says different genetic traits are selected for farm fish compared with those bred for public water stocking programs.
All the fish that we breed to be put back into the wild are bred from wild caught parents, so that genetics are the same as what are in the river systems. That's very important. As far as the production of juveniles for our grow-out systems, we're looking to move towards a faster growing juvenile that will go through the systems quicker to get us to market size, you know, in a lesser time.
The company has tagged 10 hatchery-bred fish for a competition, with prizes worth $30,000 for anglers who catch them. It's promoting the company, but also the success of a restocking program backed by the New South Wales Recreational Fishing Trust.
I think it's good to demonstrate that hatchery-reared fish can survive really well in the wild. It's been one of those things that, you know, the anglers have never been confident of how many survive, but we know that the survival is really good. This is a good way of showing that the fish will survive in the long term as bigger fish.
It's not just anglers benefiting from Murray cod breeding. The Department of Primary Industries has been restocking some of the most stressed river systems, including the Menindee Lakes, which suffered one of the worst fish kills ever recorded in Australia 2 years ago. You all right? Yep. At the department's Fisheries Centre at Narrandera, they're now breeding Murray cod from broodstock rescued from the Menindee system.
Fortunately, we got a team there really quickly, acted and got fish out of the water. Not only saved the fish there, but it was to help bring back, those genetics from that area and make sure we had it saved away for a rainy day, literally, when it did rain. So I'm going to keep these in our breeding program for around 5 years. So we've got another 3 breeding seasons off them. And after that time, we'll return them to Menindee. So we'll be hoping for great conditions out in that Darling River to put these guys back in their original home and they can continue contributing out there.
No, it's 31.
That'll do.
Oh. There we go.
Since its establishment, Murray Cod Australia has partly relied on contract growers, such as Keith and Susie Pickmere. They invested $600,000 for 2 pond systems on their orange orchard near Griffith. They buy fingerlings from the company and sell them back at market weight. It's part of a retirement plan, but they've learned that maintaining fish and water quality is a constant process.
So it's all about being here. Even though a lot of it is automated, we've spent the money on that, it's still a matter of being here to check on water quality and fish quality. Time is a big issue with intensive agriculture, and because of that, the second dam, we've actually come to an arrangement with our son, and he's actually adjusting 25% of that second dam, so he pays 25% of the costs and gets 25% of the income. And that way he has a vested interest in the business, and he looks after it if we go away and when we go away.
Murray Cod Australia is now focused on expanding its own production. It has 24 production ponds and will soon stock a new growing system on its main site near Whitton. Board member and grower Roger Commons says the circular cage systems are similar to ocean cages used by salmon farmers. So are these round pens the future? What sort of production benefit are you going to get from them?
Look, we certainly think this is the way to go, Sean. We are looking at a 30% increase in carrying capacity per pen over our existing systems with these other ones over here. And this is all a progression of, you know, where we started to where we're going to be. This will be probably not necessarily the end game, but it's certainly the way of the future, we feel.
With 4 new cages, the company expects to double its current production to near 10 tonnes a year once they're working at full capacity. It's yet another twist in fortune for a species once abundant throughout the Murray-Darling River system.